Okay, so that would be one option, is sunblock before foundation, based on the day, or sunblock instead of foundation. But then if she wanted to, of course, she could incorporate foundation with this. And so I always find that you have the most success matching foundation by looking at the neck and the collarbone, because this, of course, is what attaches our head to our body. And our faces, because it's a high part of the body, tends to get more exposure. So we tend to have more color in our faces than maybe on our neck and our chest. So if we just match to our face, we tend to get a face that's darker than the rest of our body. Or, for some people, maybe they've stayed very protected, but maybe they've allowed their body to get quite a bit more color, so their bodies are quite a bit darker than their faces. And so they need to, again, bring that color into their face in order for the face and body to be unified. So that's our whole goal, is a face that's as much as possible like the body. So the neck is very effective to match it there in order to wear it successfully here. So you have two texture options in Colorescience. You have a fluid option and you have a pressed option. They work very well together. If you've maybe always done that combination, it's a traditional makeup combination to do fluid and pressed. If you've always done that, you can do that with Colorescience too. But they also stand alone very successfully too. So they don't have to be combined, but they could. If we look at this tone on Chris's neck, tilt back just a bit. That's great, thanks. We see how that just disappears onto her neck. It's not changing it. It's not lightening, not darkening. But it's going to help bring her face more in sync with the neck. So she would just do a pearl size amount. She would warm it up just a bit and she would smooth it. She could also use a damp sponge. She could use a damp foundation brush. So she could do that as well. But the fingertip will give you the kind of the most sport tint or tinted moisturizer kind of an effect. And then the kabuki style brush is a synthetic brush, like all of the other brushes that you're going to be working with. And synthetics are great because they pick up the mineral, they move the mineral, but they don't accumulate a lot in the actual brush itself, the way a natural makeup brush hair would. And so they're ideal for anything that's wet, like the fluid. You can buff the fluid with this. So if you feel like maybe you were a little heavy-handed, or maybe your blending wasn't exactly perfect, you can go in and you can buff your fluid as well as buff your pressed. So we're just perfecting her fluid textures. Have you look up at the ceiling for me again? That's great. Blink when you need to. And then we're also going to match her in a pressed. So we're going to circle with your brush to load it. And we're going to circle to apply it. Now here's where people tend to get into a problem. They tend to want to make their foundation a concealer. Foundation is meant to enhance your overall skin texture. It's meant, yes, to cover on a sheer level. It's not meant for detail issues. That happens with your concealer after the foundation. So temporarily, you need to totally forget about those little tiny things that bother you that you would normally put concealer on, and look at the full face finish and texture, and then hone in with concealer afterwards. So we have a kit for that, which we'll show you in just a moment. So you see how I'm generously applying the foundation, but because I'm buffing it, it's activating the pressed mineral's most mirror-like and transparent texture, so it's not ever looking like anything other than skin. And that, of course, is always your goal, is to perfect as much as possible, but never sacrifice skin. So as we talked about earlier, you're getting a better illusion that the skin isn't covered, that you don't have concealer on, that you simply look like this all the time and wake up like this.